healthier, boost immunity, and deal with what is the unknown of the coronavirus with the best that we can do to keep ourselves healthy, more stronger, and keep the family in better health. So, Pooja, thanks so much for joining us. Before I start asking you questions, what are you making of the situation, and what are you recommending for people to keep up with their health?
What I'm making of the situation is I'm enjoying not waking up in the morning and rushing off to work. I'm enjoying lounging and baking with my kids, and I am also doing my fair bit of spreading the word about the importance of nutrition at this time, because I don't think there can be a time where eating right could be more important than it is right now. Yes, we are all home. Yes, we all are bored. We want to comfort eat, and we want to eat foods that taste good on our tongue. But that's clearly not the way to go, because if that's the way we are going to go, then we are inherently cutting down our immune system by not giving it what it needs to be able to ward off diseases that are going to be thrown at us. So yes, we all must enjoy the me time and the time we're getting to spend with family and be happy about it. But at the same time, being very, very vigilant on the front of what we're eating and how we are keeping ourselves physically fit as well. So we'll come to all of that, and I will share all the tricks that I'm doing with my girls as well, and with myself, on how to move and how to exercise, as you throw the questions at me.
True. So tell me a little bit about your family. How big is it? Like a lot of us are now working from home. A lot of our families are working from home. Suddenly the house is more populated than it ever is at any point in our lives. And we are just wondering, like, okay, not only are we packed together, we're also having to find solutions for each other. From to food to nutrition and juices.
So we are 3 generations packed into one home. I have my in-laws with me, my husband and I, and then my 2 girls. So we are all 3 generations trying to entertain ourselves, while one wants Hindi ghazals, the other ones, sorry baby, what are your favorite singers? All of those. I can't remember a single name right now. I have all of them in my playlist, but I can't ring a single bell. Katy Perry and Justin Bieber. So between fighting for TV remotes and TV time, we are still managing. Dadima wants to watch Pakistani plays, and daughter wants to watch Greenhouse, something that's going to go live today. So we have rationed and bargained screen time.
Yeah, no, totally. And talking of just rationing, I think the one rationing required for everyone is rationing of information, so that we're not sort of finding ourselves completely thrown at the mercy of all kinds of things that are hitting at us from everywhere, from neighbors to our phones. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about how, when we're looking at info for health, and especially around COVID, what is it that the right sources you would pick right now, and where are you getting your information from as somebody who believes in keeping an eye on what impact it will have on health?
Yes, so that's so true. The knowledge being thrown at us is there's an avalanche of it. There isn't a little bit. There's an avalanche coming from news channels to WhatsApp groups to everyone trying to post what is the COVID update of the day. I would to that. Yes, it's very easy to say that do not listen to what's coming on WhatsApp. Most of us tend to open up the links that is being sent to us. But I think there could be 1 or 2 that you narrow down, which are really giving you authentic, medically endorsed updates. So yes, there are a few that I follow called MedCramp and Medscape, because these are all medical sites which are giving me the correct way to go about it. So I'm definitely going with those updates. And then those which are being shared by doctors that I believe in, or nutritionists that I believe in. So I would ask most people to filter the avalanche of data being given to us. There is just too much being thrown at us. And I read one very nice quote which said, "Fear mixed with imagination is a very scary cocktail." And it's so true, because yes, we are hearing of what is happening to Italy, and then we are using our own imagination of what could happen to us, and that's scary. And the more scared we get, the more worked up we become, the more cortisol we release. Now I have made many videos explaining how we can boost our immunity, but all those videos and all those vitamins and all those vitamin supplements or home remedies are going to do no good to boost your immune system if your cortisol levels are at its peak, because cortisol is a complete immunity downer. So if I'm going to be all the time worked up about the germs, about my kids, about who's coming in, who's going out, I read this news on NDTV and that news on Times Life, I'm just going to get too worked up and release so much cortisol that all the good I'm trying to do with good nutrition and staying home might be all dissolved because of cortisol. So yes, that where everyone is saying keep calm, that's extremely important for us to keep calm.
Yeah, indeed. So, let's now talk about what I think you truly know really well, which is immunity, boosting health, staying fit. At this point, all doctors and all governments are recommending staying indoors and trying basically ensuring that you are neither the recipient or the carrier of any sort of viruses or germs. Perhaps you can give us a few important aspects of the kinds of foods that we should focus on, the kind of routines we should follow, because this is going to be tough for people, right, to stay in and not go in the usual fitness spaces. So that's an added pressure, and then the pressure of eating well and trying to keep yourself healthy.
So true. Okay, so just before I go to all the vitamins that I want you guys to take and all the things that I want you to do, I read this very interesting PDF that was sent to me this morning about why social distancing is so important. Okay, so they just categorized us. All of us can be divided into 4 people: A, B, C, and D. A is someone who is infected and is aware today that he is infected. Okay, so we can read. So A, while he was not aware of being infected, met up with person C. Okay, say for example, the wife or the children or friends. Okay, but while going to meet C, he did cross path with B, who is not known to him and who he doesn't know at all, but did cross path maybe in an elevator, maybe in an airplane, wherever. Now, when we do come to know that A is infected, we can quarantine him and give him treatment. Then we can backtrace and see who all he interacted with. So we know all the C's he interacted with, and we can quarantine them. The difficult part is we don't know the B's that he has crossed paths with, and we can't find them, reach them, and ask them to quarantine themselves. Now, B meets up with D, who is absolutely nowhere in the picture of A, but then D becomes the new B2. And that's why the fire is going to spread. So let's all be aware citizens and do not become the B or the B2. That's why we just have to stay indoors and stay D, so that we don't interact with A or B. I think that was so beautifully given, the importance of social distancing. Having said that, let's go to the forte of food and nutrition. So I have given you guys videos about how vitamins have a direct influence on your immunity. Okay, the first one of them being vitamin B12. Now, most vegetarians are not getting enough of vitamin B12 because B12 is found more in animal food, right? So predominantly found there. So we have to make sure that we're taking good amount of B12. You could take anywhere between 1,000 micrograms to 1,500 micrograms orally. Children above the age of 10 could take about 500 micrograms. You can take this about 3-4 times a week, and you need to take whatever vitamins I'm telling you now has to be taken for a period of 1 to 2 months starting today, not indefinitely and not forever and not for a year. Those were all the questions thrown at me last time. So we don't have to be doing that. So B12 was one. The other one is vitamin C. We all are aware vitamin C helps you boost your immunity. Children above 10 can take 500 milligrams. Adults can take about 1000 milligrams. If you do find a vitamin C that is blended with a zinc, that is also a great immunity booster. About 5 milligrams for children and about 10 to 20, even 30 milligrams for adults is known to have a higher impact on our immunity, so that our immune cells can ward off the disease before it infects us. Right? So that's a great way. I also read a study that said that not necessarily everyone who will be infected with the coronavirus will actually become sick. Okay, I may be infected it, but my immunity is strong enough for not letting me become sick or symptomatic. I am still a carrier. I will still be passing it on to the others, but I will not be sick. Who are those people whose immunity is being able to ward it off? So vitamin C, zinc, like I just told you. These are all questions that are coming in. I'll answer all of these, Krishnavi. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me finish this. Vitamin D is a vitamin which is not usually associated with immunity. It is usually associated with bone health. But more and more studies are connecting the bone health, the vitamin D with immunity. So as a safe measure, so that we are not doing blood tests, because vitamin D is fat soluble. If you take too much of it, it will become toxic in our body. So I can't give you higher doses as that what we take when we do blood tests. Now, since we are not doing blood tests in this time, a low dose B12 of D3, about 2000 IU for adults and 1000 IU for children, can be taken on a daily basis for the next 2 months to keep your immunity as strong as possible. Turmeric is a great Indian spice that can be used to boost your immunity. You get curcumin extracts in capsules these days. Those are all inherent natural ways to do it. Kiran wants to know, should we go in for vitamin D supplements? Yes, Kiran. Like I suggested, if you're not doing blood tests, then a 2000 IU for adults, 1000 IU for children for the next 2 months is a good low dose but immunity boosting dose to take. Right? So these are the impact of all the vitamins that can have on your health. Of course, sleep is extremely crucial. Dhanya wants to know, what about eating chicken? So as long as you're cooking your food, Dhanya, all foods can currently be eaten, including chicken, eggs, and vegetables, because the virus is not heat resistant. It is heat sensitive. So it will be killed the minute you will cook your food. So do not worry about eating foods that are cooked. Raw food, raw fish, raw eggs, raw salads, those are things that we need to be more careful about.
That are coming in, Pooja, as one would imagine. There are concerns about the foods to avoid. You mentioned raw foods as an example. Perhaps you want to just detail out a little more. I think more than anything else, with children at home, mothers are a little paranoid, and it doesn't help to get so many conversations around mothers groups that can be unsubstantiated. So I think perhaps as a nutritionist, if you can nail this down for them, particularly, supported with what you've read in legit places.
So, so what I would want to, sorry, just give me one tiny second.
Sure. Loads of questions coming, and I'd advise our viewers to continue.
What kind of foods to avoid by Priyanka? Let me first start with those, because all foods that are processed, all foods that are raw, all foods that are considered junk is something that you do not want to eat too often. I'm not saying do not let the children enjoy a little bit of junk food, but if just because they're at home and they're irritable and you can't let them go down and play and you can't let them do their normal things, you let them eat unhealthy food, I think that's something that's going to deteriorate their immune system. What I would be focusing on is great amount of proteins. Many times vegetarian diets do not have good quality protein. Proteins are your direct immune cells. Okay, they proteins equals to soldiers. So if there is better protein intake in your diet, your white blood cells, your red blood cells, your WBCs, your platelets, all of them can multiply to give your body the boosted immunity that you need. So eating junk foods is just eating ready to eat noodles or aerated waters to keep their tummy full. Those are some things I would avoid. The more home cooked food that we can do, things that we working mothers don't get the chance to do, let's go into the kitchen, do some nice healthy cooking which is made with health and lots of love, and give those to our children. Shreya wants to know, what kind of routine should you follow which would be good for us in perspective of health? That's exactly what I'm giving you guys, Shreya. So Along with the food, I think physical activity is extremely important. My girls are just sedentary, sitting on their laptop, on their phones, on the TV, playing board games. All of them, we're just sitting. So just yesterday, I came up with this new rule of saying all of us have our cell phones. So your cell phone health app must tick 5,000 steps. My daughter is showing me her cell phone today, which is only 293 steps so far. She has to hit a 5,000 mark by the end of the day. Else, I yet haven't decided the punishment, but I think I'm going to say 1 hour screen time less, because that's something they don't want, or 1 hour WhatsApp access taken, or something of that sort, so that they move. So yesterday, to move, they found an even more innovative idea than mine. They just turned on Just Dance on their laptop or their TV screen, and they held their phones and they danced away, and they made it 6,000 steps, and my husband joined them as well. So it was a lot of fun. It was physical activity. We need to increase body temperature, because that not only keeps our body temperature high and therefore keeps the virus away, but it releases endorphins, which are happy hormones, which reduces cortisol and stress. So all of them are extremely important to keep your mind, body, and health perfect.
So when not walking outside, because that's not an option, or playing in the park, basically dance or just sort of walk
dance, or there are so many home workouts we can do. I've been posting a few, but of course trainers are doing a far better job of posting videos on how you can do home workouts, spot jogging, skipping, knee highs, kicks. There are so many things that trainers are posting. So I've been doing my fair little bit, but follow for a few trainers who are giving you all far more variety of this exercise routines. But exercise is extremely crucial. Food, exercise, and very good, Dhanya. If you're skipping 500 skips a day, excellent. That's great cardio. It'll make sure that your body stays in shape, and it'll make sure that your health stays in your hands, and we do not need doctors at all. So like I was saying, food, exercise, sleep, very, very important. My girls are trying to have erratic sleep timings, want to sleep at 1 a.m. in the morning, and I have completely banned that. Regular sleep timings are very, very crucial, because your body only repairs when it's sleeping. So therefore, the more locked sleep timings you have, and good 8 to 10 hours for children, at least 7 to 8 hours for adults, is very important to keep our immune system strong. Ritu wants to know, how do you make the immune system strong for people above the age of 50? I would use all these vitamins as well as proteins, as well as some form of physical activity. I can't expect them to jump and just dance, but maybe even walking, even if your room is this small and you just pace up and down, that's also great cardio. You don't really have to huff, puff, and pant for it to be called exercise. Just so as long as you are taking your body weight and moving it against gravity, that's called a cardio. They don't have to run in a park to do that, right? So I hope we can make all our mums do that as well. My girls are trying that with their dadima, and my mum and dad at home have been instructed to do the same. Go pace up and down. Even if you have a small hall, just pace up and down the corridors, and that's cardio done.
So many other questions also getting in. One of the things is that when you're at home, not only is there general desire of the kids or everybody in the family to just like gorge on junk, because you're sitting and watching and you're not having a good time, or maybe you're doing board games. It's always junk, right? I mean, how many of us really eat like 8 apples to replace a packet of chips? So I think what Yamini is asking is a relevant question, especially when you're living in big families and you can't necessarily pin your kid down and, everybody's part of it together. Healthy, non-perishable.
So non-perishables, I'm assuming you're asking that, Yamini, is because what if we run out of supplies of fresh fruits and vegetables? Because you would have assumed I would have said serve carrot sticks or apple slices. But a good way to serve apple slices as a snack while you're playing with your kids is if you put a tad bit of almond butter or peanut butter on it. It just makes the apple tasty, and it's good fat. So you can make fun shapes with it and just keep that as a snack. Just because you put some almond butter on it or some peanut butter on it, they'll enjoy it a little bit more. So that you could still do with apples. But non-perishable snacks, so say, for example, you have khakras at home. So we can make canopies, right? So we can do save puris at home, but you just make sure that you use healthy kakras, or if you have access to my crackers called Nourishables, we are still sending them out. So if you want to order them, they are available on nourishables.in. They are healthy crackers which are made of bajra, javari, ragi, nachni, very rich in calcium and extremely healthy. You can make safe puris, or even if you don't have Nourishables, you have healthy kakras, or sometimes you could take a little bit of the cream cracker biscuit, the plain cream cracker biscuit, the Britannia ones, not the salted ones, not the buttery ones, and you could make save puris on them. You could put a little bit of hummus and some olive on it, or you could make a hunker dip and keep a few of these crackers. You could make bhel at home, which is non-perishable. So kurmura sorted with just masalas, or puffed versions of grains like makhana, bajra puffs. These are all non-perishables. You can get don't buy the ready-made ones. Buy the whole stock of bajra puff, for example, and then saute them with the masalas at home, so that you're not putting in too much sodium, you're not putting in too much oil, and whatever fat you're putting in is of better quality than what they put in a market. Aparna wants to know, is milk important? Should one drink it? If you're asking me at times as these, no, not really. You don't really need it at all. And if you're asking me in general, I used to be a pro advocate for milk, but I'm no more the same. The lesser we have of lactose, the better. Milk substitutes like almond milk and the other nut milks are far better bet, because lactose is something that our body is not being able to digest really well. So the lesser we have dependency on it, the better. Can we eat salads? If you're making sure that you're washing it thoroughly, and if you're making it at home and you are cleaning the vegetables, so I would use the vegetables that can be peeled. So for example, carrot, cucumber. So if you're making a salad of peeled vegetables, you're on a safer side. But if you're having a lot of the greens and the leaves, then I would say let's avoid it for a couple of weeks till all of this settles down. Kiran wants to know, what kind of soups can you build for immunity building? Well, all vegetable soups would be great. If you can make yourself bone broths, those are awesome, very, very good for our immunity. And if you do eat non-veg, bone broths are very good for our immunity. If you could Google how you make them, would be a wiser choice, because as much as I'd like to believe I'm a chef, I'm actually just a nutritionist who is just trying to learn her ways around the kitchen. If you all saw my video yesterday about trying to cook.
Yeah. Okay. So Pooja, one of the things that we all talk about is that while there's that bit about immunity, it's hard to forget that these are times that are also playing on your mind. They're getting you worried about the future, the uncertainty for yourself, your kids, your family. How can people sort of strengthen their mind? You said at the start of this, staying happy is important, getting sleep is important. If your mind is not at peace, how do you do that? And talk to us about taking care of our mental health.
Such a beautifully framed question, sweetheart. I really wanted to address that, because being cooped indoors, being bombarded by news channels which are only spelling gloom and doom, hearing the cases of deaths and instances all over the world, we can't help but feel what will happen tomorrow. So to that, I read a really nice study that said it's more about the mindset that we have today, okay, rather than so just like I'm saying, let's pay importance to what we are feeding our body. We also have to be a little thoughtful about what data are we feeding our mind, because we are going to come out of this, okay? How we will come out of it and how this will affect our loved ones and our community around us is going to do a lot with the mindset that we have about it now. My mom sent me a message, and I think it's worthy sharing that with you guys. She said there was when Krishna and Balram were once in the forest, and they said, okay, now they need to rest. So one will sleep, the other one will watch. So first Balram told Krishna to sleep, and while he was sleeping, Balram was a little scared. And there came a demon, and the demon said, I am fear, and I will grow according to the size of your fear. And Balram grew scared, and the demon kept getting larger. Eventually to a point where Balram almost fainted with fear, yelling out to Krishna. And when Krishna woke up, Krishna thought that Balram is just sleeping, and now is my turn to watch guard. And when he saw the demon, he started giggling and laughing and trying to ridicule him. And the demon became smaller and smaller and smaller till Krishna could pick him up and put him in his bag to show Balram next morning. So my mom wanted me to say, the more you will, we're not saying do not take heed of the problem, right? But the more we are going to fuel it with fear, the larger the problem is going to become, not outside, but in our mind. And the more it becomes bad in our mind, technically or medically, we know we are releasing cortisol, and therefore we are weakening our immunity, and therefore we may fall prey to it. So spirituality along with science is a fair mix to right now look at. I am not saying think of the problem as negligent and people are just making a hoo-ha about it and go out and live your normal life. No, be careful, be wary, but don't fuel your fear. The more you will fuel your fear, the more the fear is going to get to you, and the mindset is going to be affected. So feed your mind also with care, just like we're going to feed our mouth and our body.
Okay, so part of fueling, good energy and not fueling bad energy is how we make sure that we don't let the myths propagate more than the facts. If there were like 4-5 important critical myths that you would like to highlight that we should steer clear of, what would you pick?
I think instead of the myths, let's just focus on 4 or 5 points which are the actual truth. The rest of it is just being spinned around with because of people. So what are the 4 or 5 truths? One is that coronavirus is extremely contagious. So therefore, the lesser contact we have with people, the safer we are. 2 is coronavirus is heat resistant. So let's hope that the summer peaks up, and that's going to be some saving grace to us. 3 is if your immunity is lower, the virus can attack you more. Apparently, no, I'm not going to give any more details about this because, again, I'm not the professional there to give you statistics about who is more prone to it, whether male or female, what age. All of that has been there, done, and all of that is there. We know it is infectious and it is more troublesome for people once you're above the age of 50 or 60. So be more careful when it comes to those. The more we take care of ourselves in terms of good sleep and our immunity, we can keep ourselves safe. That's all we really need to focus on, that it is preventable if I make an effort. It can't be that I will live my normal life, I'll run around, go to the market, meet up with friends on a Saturday night because I don't have work. If I'm going to be negligent about it, I think I'm being naive. Let's not be naive. Let's not be paranoid. Let's be informed. Let's be calm, and let's stay strong. That's what is important. Fear is going to get the worst out of us. Vinisha wants to know, should I give a multivitamin syrup to children which has B12 and D3 instead of giving them separately? No, Vinisha, multivitamins usually have very low doses of all the spectrum of vitamins and all the spectrum of minerals. So a multivitamin is not what we're looking at currently, sweetheart. Right now, we need more focused nutrition on B12 and D3. So please give them separate B12 and D3 is what I would recommend. That's what I'm doing to my girls as well. And whatever information I'm giving you all about children, darlings, is above the age of 10, because under the age of 10, the doses have to be specific according to their body weight. So you need to check that with your pediatrician. Do not take the general advice that I'm giving through this medium. Anup wants to know, is rice important to be a daily meal for both times? It could be a beautiful meal. If you're asking me if carbs are bad, no, they're not. I eat rice for lunch and for dinner. Is it important? Some source of carbs is important. It could be rice, it could be poha, it could be idli, dosa, roti, bajra, javari, quinoa. All of them are carbs, but some carbs for all meals is important. Now is the time to stop any kind of starvation, deprivation diets that you're doing to fit into a particular dress for a wedding or to look good for a party. Right now, your health requires most concern. So therefore, following a balanced diet. I'm not asking you all to stop X diet and Y diet and follow Pooja's diet. I'm just asking you to go back to basics. Eat the normal Indian thali, which is a balanced plate of proteins, carbs, vitamins, minerals, because that's what your body needs to keep itself strong. So having said that, please stop any fad diets or any form of deprivation diets that you guys would be following right now.
Indeed. So, let's also talk about a couple of other aspects of health, which we all are sort of, again, thinking about. It is that, as
Didn't
you
get
said,
the question, sweetheart. What did you say? What?
yeah.
What?
So I was saying, let's talk about this whole diet concept, right? Because all this while people have been engaged in various diets ahead of this crisis breaking out, and now suddenly everything is about how do you, even get yourself just to ensure that you're on track with keeping your health, because a lot of your lifestyles have changed. What is your recommendation for those who have been previously on diets, whether they are keto, intermittent, or any other diet that they follow?
If you have been on diets such as these, so intermittent is not a diet. Intermittent is a lifestyle of eating. Intermittent isn't something that I would ask you to stop. If your body is used to it, you're doing well on it, you're doing it intelligently. That means during the periods of eating, you're eating good, nutritious, balanced meals. Then intermittent isn't something that I'm going to ask you to stop. But if you're following any other forms of diet where you are taking one food group and making it more superior than the other, for example, fats are better, carbs are bad, only proteins, no fruits. So if in any diet where the balance of the plate is skewing towards one nutrient, deflecting the others, those are diets that I would request you guys to please stop. Your body needs nutrition. It's just like saying your car needs fuel, but although I will put fuel in my car, but I won't put the coolant in the engine or the air in the tires, my car is not going to run. And now is the time we need our car running, okay? Because we need to run away from disease. So make sure you're giving your body all the five fingers of nutrition: carbs, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. You need to make a fist, and a fist needs all of them. You can't make a fist. The fist is not strong if even one of these fingers are missing, and none of them is more important than the other. You have to eat them in a balance required by the body to be strong and to be healthy.
So another question is that, of course, the conversation about coronavirus comes around the fact that this is some sort of a severe flu connected to, the viruses that eventually lead to influenza and various things. I don't want to go into any, again, like you said, the medical detail of it. But in order to keep colds and flus away in what is clearly a pollen season, change of weather across the country, are there any recommended, foods? Like, for example, moms are constantly talking about this in their groups. Should they suddenly increase intake of kachi turmeric, or they should do ginger honey? Would you say these are normal good practices, or this suddenly needs to be absorbed a lot more now? I mean, just try and talk to us about.
Why not? So like I said, haldi has an active ingredient called curcumin. Now curcumin is antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial. So it's an extremely useful resource to have in your pharmacy called the kitchen. And if we are going to use food as medicine, why not use these natural ingredients which have always been part of our culture? This isn't something that we have to find, hunt, go look at imported food stores and only go berserk finding them. These are found in our kitchen and we've had them for generations. So why not use fresh haldi, which is called amba haldi? Why not use ginger for its antiseptic and antiviral properties? Why not use tulsi and neem and black pepper and make a nice concoction of boiling these ingredients and making yourself a nice homemade kada? Even if it's not directly pertinent to coronavirus, it will keep the normal khasi, sardi, zukham off at bay. And those are practices that maybe we should be doing forever, for the rest of our lives. I hope once coronavirus is gone, people realize that taking care of their health isn't something that I do during a pandemic or during a reason for concern. The only way that we can keep ourselves strong is to taking care of ourselves, and two, taking care of Mother Earth. Okay, we've abused both of them, which is why today this has hit us. So hopefully we all learn from this experience once it's over. Let's just hope it's over soon. But it will be over one day. And then all of these practices should be a routine way of eating healthy, using your kitchen as your tool, as your pharmacy, so that we don't rely on drugs. And if you guys has something that is more pertinent in your ancient literature as a cultural Bengali concoction to have during Khasi Sardi, or a South Indian concoction, share it. Why not? What's the harm? We see, by using food, we can never do harm to our body. By taking extra medication, we can still do harm. But using food as our tool, at no point in time can you do toxicity to your body. So why not? The more we can use our kitchen, the more we can share these knowledge. I think we should all do them.
Yeah. So, there are some more questions coming in. As I'd imagined, there's somebody who wants to know about Chavanprash. Another one says amla juice, aloe vera. Do these kind of things again fall into the category of what's the harm, or it's a fad?
I don't know too much about Chavanprash. I'm not a coherent advocate of it, because it has too many things, and the source. See, according to me, the source from where you get the khana has to be really authentic. And but Chavanprash usually has all the things I just mentioned. Okay, for example, the neems and the tulsi and the dates and the peppers and all of those are mixed into it. Yes, it's easy to say a shortcut. Let me go buy something commercially off a shelf, or I could make it myself. Same goes with Avla juice. Avla is rich in vitamin C, right? Vitamin C is water soluble and air soluble, not air soluble, heat soluble, heat sensitive. The more I'm going to expose it to the air, the more I'm going to make the juice and package it. And I don't know how much of that my nutrition is lost in translation, right? So if you have hands on fresh Avla and you want to make yourself an Avla juice, why not? I don't know about aloe vera, whether there are only certain types of aloe vera which can be consumed. We have to be particular about those. But if you feel that the source is genuine and you have been having it for a while, it's natural. You could do it. But at times such as these, I would do more things that I have control over. So I rather do a fresh glass of vegetable juice that I always recommend. Take 3 different colors of vegetables. At this point, I would take vegetables that can be peeled. For example, carrot, cucumber, doodhi, beetroot. What you could also do is very lightly steam it for like maybe say 30 to 45 seconds. If you just steam it, then again we are being double precautious that there is no sort of infection in my vegetables. Put them into a blender, a little bit of water, blend it, strain it, take 50% of the roughage, put it back into the glass, put a squash of lime in it, slurp it down immediately. All the nutrients that Avla or aloe vera juice will give you, your ghar ka kitchen already has the same ingredients. Khud bana lo. Abhi hamare paas time hai. Let's use it to the better of our health and the family's health. Aap piyo, dadi ma ko deo, bachcho ko deo. They will see you do it, maybe make it an activity that they make the juice. Let's see the color of your juice. Let's see the color of my juice. I'm doing that with my girls. My girls are not the most ardent fans of my vegetable juice. I've been trying for years together, but I'm still not being able to. They did it for a while they were younger. Now, hard luck. But I'm still trying to change the colors, to change the glasses into fancier ways so that we can have it. Let's do that.
Yeah. So, there's this conversation that's happening a lot. As one imagines, in tough times, people's humor comes to its best. So someone said that, you could be just live binging, watching television, and instead of flattening the curve, you'll be curving your flats. And I think there have been questions here on this as well. What is all of this extra eating going to do to our bodies? Should people look at smaller meals? Should they be looking
People should look at smaller meals while flattening the curve of corona. If you're going to what did you say, sweetheart? Sharpen?
No. It's like we'd want to flatten the curve, but we are curving the flats.
Yeah, if you're going to curve the flat, means you're going to get more fat. Please realize the more fat in our body, the more the fat peroxidizes differently. So there is something known as lipid peroxidation that occurs in our belly fat, okay, which is the most detrimental one. So hum corona ko to bacha lenge, fir heart disease, diabetes, blood pressure ko bula denge, because this kind of fat is what is metabolically active and causes metabolic diseases. So we do not want to avoid one trouble and ask for another. Keep small portion sizes. For example, today my girls and I baked a carrot cinnamon cake. Okay, Yes, I did help them bake a cake. We did put some amount of fat and sugar in it, but we made them into such small portion sizes, right? They were so small. We are exactly 6 adults in the house, and we made 8 of them. Okay, so everyone will get one, and there is 2 more for someone who wants to share a little bit. So now, the same thing, I could have made a batch of 25, okay, and then we would have all eaten that because it was so delicious and it was hot and it was made right now, and the whole house was smelling gorgeous with the smell of cinnamon. But the idea here was to do an activity, to make something that is not usually made, and it is tasty, but still we kept the portion sizes very chotu. Banaya, khaya, khatam. No more for second helpings and third helpings, because that's what's going to curve the flat, right? We don't want to curve the flat. We want to make sure that our health stays in our hands even once this virus is gone.
Absolutely. So here's a question on oranges. There are a lot of people talking about vitamins. You address vitamin D, but what about vitamin C? And somebody's docs are suggesting having vitamin C supplements. The other one wants to talk about oranges. Just want to just focus a little bit on vit C.
I did mention vitamin C as well. Maybe I was very fast at that point in time. So let me repeat it. Vitamin C, 500 milligrams for children. Children is 10 plus, and 1000 milligrams for adults could be a dose that we could all be taking for added immunity. Okay. Yes, oranges, avlas, kiwis, guavas are excellent sources of vitamins. But right now, why am I recommending taking a vitamin is because we are not taking it only for the inherent good skin or normal khasi sardi. We want to use vitamins as prophylactic doses to prevent a disease. So sometimes taking an oral supplementation just adds on to that benefit. By no means am I asking you all not to eat normal khana and pop in B12, pop in vitamin D, pop in vitamin C. These are only to accentuate the supplemental effects of nutrition on health. So when I did post the video last, someone asked me a question, oh, as a nutritionist, are you recommending we just keep popping pills? That's not my idea. My idea is to say, there are sometimes our cooking methods, the depletion of the nutrient in our soils, the pesticides are reducing the inherent quality of the nutrition left in our oranges or our vegetables. So yes, while we must do everything on the front of eating fruits and vegetables, at times such as this, taking an oral supplementation to increase the fort of immunity may be a good choice. Risha wants to know, can I have what can be low fat with sugar substitute for sweet tooth for dessert options? From Taiwan. Well, keep safe, Risha, in Taiwan. Low fat, no sugar substitutes could be great dry fruits, darling. So use the dates, use the anjeer to sweeten your, or dried apricots to make desserts. So my mom has this famous recipe of taking dates as a mixture. So she literally mashes up the dates. She takes nuts in it. So almonds, walnuts, pistas, chops them up and puts it into the mixture with the date, and then packs it into a nice ball and rolls it with sesame. It's sweet, it's healthy, it's good fat, it's good calcium, it's good antioxidants, and it's no sugar, it's no fat. So we can make a sweet tooth. Although I don't believe in the concept of sweet tooth, sweetheart, the sweet tooth is more here. And the more I tell myself I have a sweet tooth, I can have all 32 sweet teeth. I don't believe in that concept. But yes, if you want to make a little bit of meetha right now, you could do that.
Okay, so I know that there'll be plenty of questions, but more importantly, we've been speaking for 45 minutes. I just want you to run us through just one final question, which is that, is there anything that I should have asked you, but I haven't in these times, particularly to keep oneself safe, stronger, and boost immunity?
No, you haven't, but I'm just going to do a last recap of the 5 things we must be doing to keep ourselves healthy this Corona time, right? So one is, of course, paying good attention to. I love that house. One is, of course, paying good attention to balanced nutrition, making sure that we are taking in good amount of proteins and carbs, along with vitamins and minerals, keeping junk food to as little as possible, keeping high sugar, high salt, high fat foods to lesser because we don't want to increase body weight and body fat and therefore call for other metabolic trouble. So eating well, eating with thought, eating small meals, eating frequent meals, eating meals that are cooked at home with proper hygiene are all things I have to do in terms of feeding my body. Two is some form of physical activity. It could be 5,000 steps within the house, or it could be home workouts, aerobic workouts, videos put up by so many great trainers that are being there on social media right now. Follow them. So exercise in some form is extremely important. Sleep is extremely important because all of these work together for your immunity. 8 to 10 hours for children and a minimum 7 to 8 hours for adults. Hydration, maybe I did miss out on that. Water is extremely important to keep our cells working well from within. So all of our cells have mitochondria and cells which work in an optimum hydration level. And if the hydration level is compromised, my cell cannot function as well. So forget immunity cells, but other cells are compromised as well. So good amount of water. Although we are at home, we may forget the sensation between thirst and hunger and all constantly keep thinking, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Make sure that every 1 hour we pass around a glass of water to everyone in the house, because hydration is important. And keep the hydration simple. Water, it doesn't have to be drinks and juices and smoothies, it just has to be water. So we did sleep, food, exercise, water, and lastly the mindset. Be calm, be informed, be strong, and don't be panicked.
Indeed. That's great advice there. Pooja Makhija, thanks so much. We do need, everyone in your community and fraternity to come out there and talk, because the more we can sort of bust myths, put more accurate information, and generally talk about good health, the more upbeat we'll all be. Thanks so much. Appreciate, and catch you on the other side of COVID-19.
Take care, everyone, and be safe.
See you.